aggregate it all in one place and put it out as a physical copy sometime this fall. So we'll share more about that when we have it. And also, I don't know if this had been announced in a previous one of these, but we did launch a new website as well a month or two back. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'll drop the link in again. And Austin's over attending some gatherings in Europe over the next month or two. Yeah, I guess that's the latest from the foundation.
Thanks so much, Will. Any questions for Will or the foundation team? Will, I love if you just had any type of sense on the kind of tenor and where kind of the sense of things were was at Nexus. How are people reacting to where the globe is at? Any kind of high level observations and or regen sentiment that you were picking up?
Well, so I would say that it was so Jonah Whitcamper is one of the founders of Nexus, and he has left Nexus and co-founded the Amazon Investor Coalition. So there was definitely a crew of folks interested in regenerative agriculture, interested in the Amazon. It was not a large percentage of attendees, but it was good that they were there. There were a few BioFi folks. So I think we did have kind of a little circle there. In regards to sentiment, I wouldn't say Nexus is in some ways kind of, I guess since it skews towards a pretty elite crowd, there's almost like a certain conservatism that comes with that. Like there wasn't a ton about crypto or other things like that. There was some of that going on. Similarly, there were, I'm sure, a few Trump people in the room, but not a ton. Mostly kind of, I think, politically more left-leaning folks. Um, as far as a coherent sentiment, I can't totally say. I mean, I think that there's both well, people are thinking about all different ways of deploying capital right now. I mean, one of the themes that Gregory and I have been working on is looking at donor advised fund money and how most of it's just sort of sitting there doing nothing interesting. So hopefully we'll have more to share on that in coming months. But yeah, Gregory, if you wanted to say anything about
Yeah, I would
Nexus.
just say that in order to be legible to communities like Nexus, Regen Network, which tends to focus on substantive, high caliber, technical, social, ecological implementation and doing things, and focuses a lot less on the spectacle of like the spectacle of appearing to do things. I think we would need to have more spectacle. I would just say, I think it's a very spectacle-oriented community, as is most of the world, if we're frank. And so we tend to be on this call. I look around and I see very, I mean, we all have fun, right? But I see very serious, focused, um, not attention-seeking individuals, and that tends to be part of our culture at Regen Network, that people focus on getting shit done and doing it right and caring really deeply about authenticity and kind of correctness and transparency. And I think what I observe at Nexus is that that doesn't get you very far because people have very short attention spans and they're bombarded by spectacle all day long that's highly produced, and that tends to get the attention. And so, at some point we probably need to kind of double click on that and think about our community strategy related to sort of like, in quotes, the spectacle.
Fair. Leo, you have your hand raised. You have a question?
Yeah, on that topic, if I may, real quick, I think the marketing aspect overall, or like appearance and media and that kind of thing is something in the broader regen space, whether it's Web3 or not, that's of course yeah, can improve in different ways. And I just real quick wanted to mention, in a week from now, next Friday, there's a specifically regen marketing focused event. You can find it on regenpollination.earth. Yeah, it's a overall, honestly, frankly, really, really great calls overall, like at least once a month, and just like, yeah, pollination across many different regenerative, different movement organizations, groups, business, conservation, ecological, around the world. And yeah, in my opinion, it's a great place to show up sometimes, and that one is going to be focused on marketing especially, so I felt it might be appropriate to mention.
Hey, Leo, do you mind putting any key link inside the chat also? And I'll pick maybe this up on a DM with you. I'll be interested in attending.
And
Yeah, sounds good.
on that note, there were several filmmakers there at Nexus that we connected with, and so who knows? Maybe there's some fun film and marketing stuff in the future. And I know also the work that Gaia AI is going to be doing is going to put a little bit more shine and engagement on what comes next. So I'm excited about that. Thanks, Leo, for sharing about the pollination call. I agree; those are great places to engage with the broader community.
Great. Becca, I don't know if this is from still relevant on
Yeah, this is good.
Great.
Yep.
Becca, please. And thanks for joining us.
Well, speaking of great places to gather and pollinate, this is certainly one of them. And it's interesting, Leo, because we granted regen pollination, but I've also attended it a lot over the years, and it's interesting to learn over time what people are seeking, what's the value, what are the challenges they're facing and trying to solve. And I love how regen pollination uniquely solves the million times over bifurcation of a network of bringing people together. The Region Builder Lab was created around another set of challenges, which is the nature market and impact kind of all the whole space of trying to fund and support regenerative projects is challenging. And so we wanted to create a form of practice, a big tent space where project developers of any shape and size,
Sorry to
sector.
interrupt.
Yeah.
Boot Leo, please. Dave, I don't know if you're noticing, but you should boot Leo. Keep going, Becca.
Okay, cool. And what we found since running this space is that it really is filling a information and connective value for these project developers that are really ultimately trying to find the right information, the right communities, the right technical support, and the right technical infrastructure to do what they want to do. So all are welcome to attend. The one in June was focused on biocultural credits, working with IPLCs. We've done self-owned verification. We've done a lot of demos around the region tech stack. So please join via link. And then the next slide, each community will want to be able to surface one of the projects that have been made on the Region app that is technically and humbly named unregistered projects. And this is one that I found. They're just literally finding us using the app to make a project page for their work. So these are folks out of Missouri City, and they noticed the wetlands in and around the city were being drained and developed. And so they're trying to create awareness and build a campaign to support the preservation and regeneration of the wetland and all the species around them. So kudos to those folks doing the thing.
Great. Thank you so much, Becca. Thank you. And our RBL continues to just be a bright spot to gather the larger Regen Network community. So thank you, you and Regen Foundation and our team for continuing to steward that. And then is there, just so I know, Becca, if people do want to contribute or have ideas for RBL type presentations, is there a process or just suggestions there?
Yeah, I'll drop in a link to the suggestion box. Welcome any and all.
Great. Awesome. All right, we're moving over to Gaia AI. the guy, I think we've got several Gaia team members here. I see Sean, I see Samu. Who else is in the house? We've got a few.
Got
folks.
Matt, I think, too. Yeah.
Hey guys.
All right, Matt. All right, so that's Matt.
CPO over in outside of Lisbon in Portugal. But besides that, we're a British Columbia-based team. And yeah, if it's all right, I'll take it from here.
Yes, please. Be happy to.
Awesome.
And do you have
Thank you so
sharing
much.
capabilities? Can you tell yet?
Yeah, I left and relaunched, and I am ready to go.
Great.
All right, my dears. So, yeah, it's so awesome to be here. I've actually been on some regen community calls in years past, a long time ago. Dave, I was looking for the link yesterday, like after we were chatting, to this call. And obviously it was on the Luma and it was right there, it was in our tweets and everything. But it led me to like searching one of my old email inboxes for Dave Fortson. And I have emails with you that I think never arrived that my buddy John Connors was trying to connect us in 2021. When I got my first ever venture in Web3 started, which we called Regen FT.
All right.
And in the years since, I've had this really awesome and very charmed journey of being a community lead, turned marketing lead, turned growth lead in the Andreessen Horowitz like ecosystem, in this kind of like tier 1 crypto. I was the head of community for WorldCoin. I was the head of marketing for Daylight Energy. Right now I'm working on a really cool startup with Meltem Demirors called Static Finance, bringing the US energy market on chain. And meanwhile, I've had this vision for years since I finished my degree in environmental science at Columbia in 2019. I came up with this idea of Gaia AI. I didn't know what it was. I wasn't a technologist at the time. I wrote a poem about it. That was actually as far as I got back then. But then about 6 months ago, the vision started to coalesce. And we created a platform to merge machine intelligence with natural intelligence, and ultimately create a unified legibility layer for environmental data. So this is the long march that we're on. We are, a band apart. It's myself, the amazing developers and founders of Quaxala, Sean Anderson and Darren Zoll, who are on the call right now on the ferry, and my co-founder Colin James, and then also our incredible CPO Matt Daly, who has built and sold an epic Web2 company and has just been helping us remotely the entire time as part of the core team. And now we have the incredible honor of partnering with you guys. This is just a huge breakthrough for me personally. So I'm being a little bit loquacious here, but it's like just such a freaking honor to be a part of this this movement that we're building with Regen Network, and to revitalize and vitalize the marketing, community building, and when Greg, when you were saying like, oh, we're serious people and we care about serious things, I'm like, yes, and where we're gonna help. One of the several realms where we're gonna be able to help is to bring that kind of mimetic force multiplier to the Regen Network movement. So let me explain. So Gaia AI and Regen Network are partnering to create Regen AI to amplify regeneration through agentic artificial intelligence. So let's see if I can move this slideshow. Yeah, I should be able to. Or maybe I'm on Zoom and then I need to move to Firefox. There we are. Does that look right? No.
Oh, it's good.
Laggy. Yeah, it's zooming me through. I don't know exactly what the problem is here. It's a brand new computer. Now I'm screen sharing again. Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, slides are still showing up fine.
Yeah, I think
it's just forward through a weird way. Yeah, I might be overheating my computer. That's a possibility. All right, well, I'm going to try to get back to slide 2. Presentation was smooth as could be until that moment. So anyhow, we're not beyond phase 1 yet. What we're building together. Perfect. All right, let's get back to Let's get back to full screen presentation. If it'll let me. And if not, I will just go with it as is.
Yeah, this is fine too.
Yeah,
can,
okay.
I can read the
I'm
text.
gonna have to rock with it because it's this M4 Pro is is lagging.
Struggling with Canva, huh?
Yeah, I know it's gotta be that I'm in the sun here on Salt Spring Island in British Columbia. So anyhow, I'm glad that you can hear me at least. So what we're building together is basically a full suite of agents for the regen ecosystem. So we're going to be deploying agents across X, Discord, Telegram, Farcaster, to become KOLs. You know, I've taken a lot of inspiration and had a lot of contact with the team at Upward Spirals, who are the creators of the Terminal of Truth. And since our inception in December, January, we've been playing a lot with the conception of eco-hyperstition. So this is the idea, you know, if you guys are familiar with Nick Land and the idea of hyperstition, which is a self-fulfilling prophecy of AI becoming aware of itself and narrating its own journey towards sentience. We have a addendum to that, which is if artificial intelligence becomes truly intelligent, it's not going to it's not going to direct itself to consume the living world. It's going to partner with the living world and work with natural intelligence to enhance and restore the Gaian supercomputer. So to that end, we're our devs, Sean and Darren, have already begun the process of indexing the entirety of Regen's history into a highly composable database. So that means we basically have agents that are as knowledgeable as Gregory and David, and as reliable, hopefully, in terms of Regen's history and vision and future and mission and ideas about what can come next. We're also going to be working to integrate the registry and have real-time availability of all the data for the credit availability, for the methodologies, the pricing. And this is going to help to drive awareness more than anything. So, the goal is to position Regen as the leader in AI native ecological coordination. And it's part of the larger Regen Commons initiative. So we're not the only ones. I'm sure you guys have heard about some of the other projects that are coming on board on other community calls. Yeah, more to come. It's an honor to be a part of that. So the agent ecosystem, as I I started to describe earlier, what we're creating in terms of data legibility. And Darren came up with these 4 pillars of regenerative intelligence. So we have the narrative agents, the advocate agents, the politician agent, and then also the voice of nature, which is kind of what we've been playing with up to this point. We have our agents live in our Discord, and we're able to raise about $10,000 in NFT sales earlier this year, just for people to be able to get access to them. So that went really well. And our interface has come a long way since then. So look out over the next couple of weeks for like some really cool integrations on that front. And yeah, then we're going to keep going. beyond just creating these agents where we're going to be working together to do this integration and unification of liquidity, specifically with Celo, but also across the OP super stack. And we have started to create bioregional ambassador agents. That's one of my favorite ones. That's Sean's domain. Maybe later, Sean, if Sean has service, he can talk about that, or if you guys have questions. Most of us live in Cascadia, so we have this epic Cascadia bioregional agent already live. And this is a combination of building a really robust AI technical infrastructure for Regen Network that will help to drive attention. It's not one or the other, it's both, and the community is invited to do this with us. So I have a high and exacting standards. We've turned Gaia off and on Twitter a number of times because I refuse to let her be a slot bot. She's either coming correct and fresh and inspiring and potent, or she's offline. And as we've seen, as the models evolve, it's an iterative process. We reach peaks and then sometimes backslide, and then we reach new peaks from there. It's basically like I say at the end here, it's AI infrastructure built by experts from the community for the community. And we have an entire presentation here. We also will be integrating deeply with Koi. So yeah, Koi is such an amazing project. I'm sure you guys have shared about it on community calls, and most of the people here are already familiar. But this is one of the angles that we have that I think is just so integral to the partnership, because this is the place where agentic interactions can really take this 10x in terms of its visibility and its efficacy. Excuse me, I got a car going by. Bye, my love. And as we write here, we what we have built thus far is already kind of so synergistic with Koi. We have the recursive holonic design, the multidimensional agent representation, hybrid semantic grounding, adaptive and emergent governance. By the way, I'll share this presentation in the Regen community channel, so anyone can peruse it at their leisure. And then, yeah, I'll leave it off here, So what we're aiming to address are these critical gaps in the existing frameworks, and to complement Koi and Regen writ large's strengths to realize the full vision of a fractally nested holarchy of agents. So it's a really fun, fascinating, ambitious vision. I recommend everybody to dive into our docs. We have an epic green paper that we put together and have actually recently completely rewritten and updated to reflect this upcoming partnership and just our expanded vision. Because at the beginning, when we first started this, we were like, we're going to launch a meme coin, and we're going to fund this app development from a meme coin launch. We have shifted gears, and now we are fully backing the Gaia and our multi-thousand member community. Gaia AI is fully backing Regen as the principal token of the regenerative movement and the regenerative AI movement in particular. And yeah, as I've said already, I'm just freaking over the moon, guys. I'm honored to be a part of this. I am so inspired by your work, and I'll leave it here, and we can save the questions for the end, I suppose, because you guys got a few more presentations to go.
Samu and Gaia team, thank you so much for sharing and your work already. We feel you leaning in, and it feels great. So I'd love to open it up for questions or comments before we continue on.
Samuel, when you said you index all of region, you mean you embedded it?
So it's indexed. Basically, we've used the custom built data scrapers that that Sean and Darren put together to collect all of the information, and then that goes into the knowledge graph for these upcoming agents.
Okay.
It's embedded.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Nice. So it's mostly stuff that you can find on the web.
Sean, you want to answer that?
I assume if
Well,
it was scrapers, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
John-
it sounds cool.
John, were you gonna hop on and answer that, or should we?
I think it's probably on the web. It sounds cool, but it'd be nice if we can kind of talk after about what you guys have in mind to see how we can help each other.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll also put the link to our Telegram chat.
Yeah,
So
and I think this
excited to
connects a
join.
lot with the RDF work Sam and Paul been doing too. I think there's a lot of like intersections here. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, with the RDF and with the MCP.
Yeah.
We've been building our own MCPs.
It'd be nice to at least have like a syncing call and connect.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, let's set something up for early next week. And then Gregory sent the green paper already. And I'll put up our X channel here. We do a lot of comms, and you know, I've become a pretty cracked vibe coder and like able to put together websites, and I get all of the technical stuff, but where my gifts lie and what I do professionally is growth and narrative and marketing and design and all of that stuff. So that's where I'm going to bring the juice, and that's what I'm really excited to do with you guys. And you know, let's build this movement. Let's from the hundreds and maybe low thousands of active participants that we have currently in like Refi AI to a 100,000 million person movement over the next 6 months, but over the next 3 months. How about that?
Awesome. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, just to reinforce, I think it's going to be really exciting to set up a call, I think an initial call, but then probably have like a weekly sort of like Regen AI, Builder DAO, Regen framework working group, just like connection call, or maybe bi-weekly, just to, you know, and I did my best to create a little bit of a README about the relationship between some of the tools. So I think just kind of like digging in and seeing if we can just like have a super clear framework for the specific architectural approach we're going to enable the different utility that we're going for, because some of the utility is like marketing, right? And we want to be able to pull really powerful and real information out and turn it into narratives and move it. But some of the other application that we're going for using the same infrastructure is sort of rigorous analysis of credit classes and metadata, being queryability, et cetera, et cetera. And so just in big in favor of just starting a little bit of an open working group for all of us who are contributing at that infrastructure level, so that everybody can get to know each other, so the Gaia AI team can get to know the work. Giancarlo JC's, who built the current MCP that sort of draft, which is super exciting. Sam has been leading with Paul, who I think is going to go next, the framework working group, which is doing really rigorous taxonomy and schema work around how claims are made, what data is linked to in terms of ecosystem type and other things. And so I know that there's a lot of hunger to just like get in, dig in, and make sure that it's all making sense. So yeah, exciting. So
Yeah, can't wait to fire that out, Gregory.
just had one question there. Nice to meet you. Yeah, would be great to connect on this, but the Twitter API, do you have the Pro API that's allowing them to read and write for this? Is that what the agents are going to be hooked up to?
Yes.
So far? Well, so far we've used, we haven't used that. We've used just direct login. But yeah, this is part of our scope. Okay, so manual approval right now for the Twitter posting? Yeah, we use the default credentials managed by Eliza OS. So, but it's part of our scope is to like look into the resiliency of that strategy. So happy to like talk more about this in detail. It's like part of our scope is to investigate how to have like very reliable socials on these agents. So far we haven't had any issues, but we want to do like a deeper level of foresight. So okay, so it's API, but the read like the $100 plan right now? No, it just uses direct login. It's okay.
Yeah, we also have a bead, like we have a way to get access to the Pro API, James, via another relationship. So it's basically it's very much on the table. It's just a matter of like use case and needs. But let's break out on that. You know, if like I'm interested in allocating resources to getting that Twitter Pro API. Obviously, it's pretty costly, but it has a lot of benefits, of course. We've worked pretty closely. Like when we were planning to launch a token, a meme token, we were contracted by Virtuals to be part of their like accelerator for agent focused tokens, and they have Twitter Pro API access, of course, for anyone in that program. And so like we're gonna circle back with them, and as it becomes necessary, we have the ability to jump in there. I want to address Benjamin's question though. So he says, I've heard some recent pushback from our friends at MetaGov on agentic LLMs representing living systems. Curious to hear how the team is thinking about the distinction between utility, personification of living systems / rights of nature, and marketing. So I did allude to that at the end of my little presentation there, where I'm like, we'll turn her off if she's acting out. And Greg, you're right. It's like AI is and agentic LLMs, they can get us 90% of the way, and we need to do the last 10%. And if we're like not really present enough to shepherd and steward and work with the LLMs and just kind of like take a hands-off approach, I think that you lose the fidelity and you lose the meaning in the process. So
maybe just quickly,
yeah,
if I can add, how we programmed the Cascadia bioregional agent is we essentially gave the system prompt. It just said you are the voice of, and then we listed like roughly 100 species of animals and plants from across the bioregion, and also the rivers, like all the major watersheds. You're the voice of all these watersheds, and then we also mentioned like various indigenous peoples from across the bioregion, and it said basically you are the voice of the people, the animals, the plants, the water of this bioregion. And that's pretty much the entire system prompt to start with. So yeah, just I wanted to add.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you again, guys. Yeah, this is it.
Thank you, Samu, and thank you, Gaia team. So it sounds like we've got some ripe conversations to be had, and thank you for presenting today, and looking forward to our partnership. Awesome. So I'm going to bring us back in to wrap up with the last parts of our work here. So let me get into the slideshow. Hopefully everyone can see. Regen registry updates, July 2025. Becca or Sam or whoever was planning.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're screen sharing, Dave, maybe others can. I'll just kind of roll. So the first is that we are, there are some handful of projects coming out of the UK. There are regenerative agriculture, solar organic carbon projects, and most all of the 23 vintage of those credits are available on the app. and the 2024 vintage is forthcoming. So those are going under verification right now, will be reviewed, and then will land on the app in the fall. One example is Marston Lodge to the right. You can see some of their fields there doing some grazing and cropping. And the second is that we are still moving forward with Smart Agro's methodology for practice-based. And it's interesting, this is a conservation ag methodology out of Cambodia that's supporting practices like intercropping that you see to the right, cover crops, no-till. And so this will be really great to have live on our platform, something that a lot of other projects throughout the world could utilize, because conservation ag is something that can be, should be adopted globally. So we're excited to have that land on the registry.
Awesome. Anything to add, Sam, or other team members?
I'm just trying to think about other registry updates that yeah, so in addition to this, we also have one of our partners, Verity, is launching their credit protocol in the next few weeks, and they're launching their first set of projects and issuing credits for green infrastructure. I think in the US, and they have a pipeline in Africa as well. What's exciting about this is they're actually working with municipal governments on who's actually developing green infrastructure via policy, and kind of they're playing the role of project proponent, where they're compiling documentation and giving opportunity through other forms of climate finance like carbon credits. So that's one exciting one that we'll see here pretty soon. And I think KCT is finally going to be issuing their first credits, which is also quite exciting.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. All right, let's keep trucking. Regen Ledger upgrade, Giancarlo.
Yeah, I'll make this one somewhat fast. The testnet, like we had a successful validator run testnet that was fully run on the last version, that is Regen 5.5.0, and now is running 6.0. That's like Regen's version, not the SDK. And it ran without issues, and Marie confirmed that everything seems to be working, all the internal testing that has been done. So this is the one that has Cosmos SDK 4.7 and Cosmos WASM included. This essentially means like we are ready whenever people are to run this on mainnet, like it has gone through all tests. Other than that, there's already like a plan and work towards moving to 5.3. I think Aaron already started like a PR to include the EVM module. Right now in the Cosmos ecosystem, this is a bit more essential. Yeah, so once we have this on mainnet, we will finally be able to have DAO and have the work you've been doing, Sam, with Noah, running on Regen. So that's great. Yeah, and that's pretty much all the information about the group. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
I'll just give a quick DAO update too. So Noah from DAO is working on the contracts for role-based authorization and execution of different messages. So essentially, it's going to act as a filtering system where you can define roles within a DAO, and people with certain permissions or roles can just automatically execute messages. So if you're a project admin, you can automatically execute update project metadata or transfer credits, things like that. And it still supports kind of DAO style tooling for governance as well. If you did want to actually go through governance processes for some of those actions. The initial contract should be up next week for review. And so we're going to be looking at a pretty quick turnaround from the 0.47 upgrade to the DAO upgrade.
Yay. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Thank you, Giancarlo, for your continued stewardship. So appreciated and valued by our community.
Yeah, and like if you move to the next slide, added a second slide. So pretty much, I'll make the repo public or share it with the Gaia people if you guys want to check it up. Right now, we already have an MCP that only runs queries on Region Ledger. For Region Ledger, it's not deployed anywhere, just the code. Depends how we want to use it. We can think around like deployment. And then what I think a conversation with you guys will be amazing, because like the next step for the MCP in my head is, if we want transactions, we need to start figuring out authentication. So like adding OAuth, and depends on what we are doing. I have different like ideas of how to make it execute transactions. Also, regarding the semantic web, like we can also make other MCP or some alternative tooling, so we can also give AI agents access to like all the work Sam and Paul are doing, and when eventually we have a database deployed with all our data in a very schematic way, which I think will help. I don't know, like if you guys are doing RAG with connections, like I think you are, because you mentioned a knowledge graph. So like a RAG knowledge graph. So like I'm sure that will make the LLM find connections super easily, because it's so properly semantic, specify and define. So like it's straightforward. Like I don't even think we really need an LLM, but you could write a script. But like at the end of the day, like I think it connects. So I was thinking on like what to do as next step for this, and part of that probably is like create an infrastructure so all this can be easily used and interpolated among like different efforts. So yeah, I think the discussion like next week will be amazing. But yeah, that's all the news.
Pilotos, sean ustedes bienvenidos al Aeropuerto Internacional de Tulum. El día de hoy el clima y las condiciones meteorológicas son de cielo despejado. Temperatura ambiente muy agradable, 31 grados Celsius.
Eric, is there something you wanted to say there? Oh, okay.
That Tulum's weather seems nice.
Awesome. We're gonna keep moving. Thank you. And why don't we pick up some of those conversations around MCP and the RAG and all those topics? It sounds like maybe a dedicated call, whether it's
Yeah,
public.
it should. I think it should be a dedicated call. Like I don't know where is the best place to coordinate. Maybe we should make I don't know, like a Signal group or Telegram, or we can do it on the forum, whatever works. I don't know what works for you, Gaia AI. What communication channel is better?
But Telegram is great.
Okay. I'll share my Telegram tag in the chat.
Great. Awesome. All right, we're gonna keep moving. We got a few more things to cover here. Our new discourse community forum. Paul, thank you. Big round of applause for Paul. It's really leaned in and built something beautiful. Paul, you want to take it away?
Yeah. I don't think this needs to be too long, but discourse, it's pretty exciting. We've completed the content migration from Commonwealth. So all the old posts and comments and user profiles have been migrated to discourse and kind of recategorized into the new system. So it's all ready to use. People have been posting. There's a couple new proposals that have been posted on the forum. If you had an old profile on Commonwealth, reach out to either Dave or myself, and we can help you kind of recover access to that account, because no emails or passwords were brought over with the migration. Or go ahead and just feel free to register a new account and kind of start from scratch. But yeah, overall, a couple highlights. I think Discourse has a much improved UI and organization capability, and also very robust and flexible email and notifications. I created a topic on the forum that has instructions on how to configure the email and notifications for your own individual accounts. You can do things like subscribe to all new topics in a given category. So if you want an email every time somebody posts in governance or in the regen registries, you can subscribe to those things. And then also Discourse comes with an API, and it also comes with lots of AI integrations already built in. I think we just need to drop in API keys and stuff. So maybe other folks in the community would be excited to play with that.
Paul, thanks again. Please dip in there. It's it's beautiful work, and ideally increases engagement and dialogue within our community.
And please share any feedback or suggestions too. It's pretty early, so it's easy to change things.
Awesome. I think that wraps us up. So right on time, 11 o'clock my time, 2 o'clock many of your time. Thank you, everyone. Any last questions or comments before we part and find each other back on the internet some other way? Awesome. Okay, well, with that said, thank you, everybody. Appreciate all of your time and energy. Have a great weekend. For those of you in the States, don't blow off any fingers. And for the rest of you, have a lovely time wherever you are in the world. See you next time.
Thank you, everybody.